Hello friends, Kev here. Welcome to my retirement adventure. As promised, I got a couple of road stories. We're going to talk about winter in northern Saskatchewan. I'm going to talk about two towns, Isla La Crosse and Meadow Lake. Well, the first story happened at Isla La Crosse at the end of January. That place is way up in northern Saskatchewan. Yeah, it was minus 35 that day. We got up there probably early afternoon, 1 o'clock. It was just freezing. The wind was howling. It was pretty much like driving on the moon until maybe 5 minutes out of town. And there was a bunch of kids with toboggans tobogganing in the ditch of the road. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen. They had on winter jackets, I guess, but they weren't exactly parkas. So yeah, that was our first indication that these people are used to being cold. When we got to town, we pulled up to a line of ATCO trailers. That's what they use up north. They don't build permanent structures because they'll sink. And we were just about to phone the person that booked us. We had one of those old Motorola brick phones. I don't know if you remember that. You could hammer a nail with them. Anyway, this kid comes out of a trailer maybe a half a block away. He's got a 2-4 of beer. So this kid comes up to us, says, "I got your keys for the trailer. Want to buy some beer? 30 bucks. So we gave him the money, and he buggered off back down to the general store. It was a trailer maybe a block away. Then we realized we didn't know where the event was, so we had to walk down to the trailer. Well, it was freezing. The wind, it almost blew you off your feet. And nobody up there was even really wearing a toque. Couldn't believe it. So anyway, we got our keys, found out where the event was, went and loaded in. There was a heated vestibule at the front, so that was good. The back door in this place was a different story. It didn't close completely, and it was the whole edge of the door from top to bottom had a giant block of ice. It was about yay wide by about that deep, and at the top the air was coming in and it was just steaming, and it froze, so the back door was frozen shut. Well, we played the gig. It was a lot of fun. Decided to drive home that night because it was just ridiculous up there. Well, we got about 4 hours on the highway and we had to stop for gas, so we went to this big truck stop and got our gas there. But when we went to leave the gas station, our bus wouldn't start. Turns out the battery was frozen. It was cracked right in half. Well, it was a big truck stop, so there was no problem. We got a new battery. But then the bus started, but it would barely run. So we opened the hood, looked inside, and the carburetor was pretty much closed right off. Like the carburetor should be like this. It was a little hole like that. The rest of it was ice. So we got towed into one of the pull-through wash bays. They just towed us in there for free. Took the carburetor off, thawed it out, put it back on while we went into the restaurant, had a coffee, put the carb back on, and drove back home to Calgary. Yeah, next little story happened in Meadow Lake. Again, it was a winter festival. I think it was happening in February, so it was pretty cold. So we went up there and I brought my own car. Well, I parked my car where I shouldn't have, and I got a $2 ticket, but I didn't pay it. I kept it for a souvenir. Now, that'll come in later. Did I say we were playing in Meadow Lake? Anyway, yeah, that's where we were, playing for a winter festival. They had guys sawing logs, the buck saws, splitting wood, dog team stuff like that. We were playing in the hockey rink. So on the break, we would go into the dressing rooms. We had one dressing room for ourselves, and the floor was covered with black rubber, so you could walk on it with your skates and they wouldn't get dull. So anyway, The guitar player has a beer. It's about half done. And it just slips out of his hand. It falls and hits the floor. There's this weird kind of whoop sound. We thought, well, we better pick up the glass. So we started looking for it. And there was no glass to be found anywhere. The bottle just vaporized. Never seen anything like it. And we looked everywhere. We couldn't find the neck. We couldn't find the bottom. We couldn't find anything. It just shattered into nothingness. Strange things happen when it gets cold enough. So here's my extra little story related to Meadow Lake. A couple of years ago we went to Huatulco and we met a bunch of people that we liked. I got along great, in particular with this one guy. He's like, where are you from, this and that, and I said Calgary, and then he said Meadow Lake. I'm like, oh right, I remembered the ticket. I said, well, I got a ticket up in Meadow Lake once. It was $2, but I never paid it. I kept it for a souvenir. A minute later I found out that he's the head of the RCMP detachment for that northern division. We're still friends on Facebook. I hope you liked that video. I got more stories. I'll put them together and I'll see you on the next one.